Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I watched Eurovision last night, and um, it was a really bad year. It was a really bad Eurovision year, and Israel ended up almost winning, which was really weird. I think that I think that because so many people boycotted Israel, they boycotted Eurovision because of Israel, that the people who actually voted were skewed towards Israel, and also apparently Israel has been, yeah, anyway, marketing themselves, and so because it wasn't like the song was not good, and I don't understand how it got to second place. But yeah, so Austria saved the day, and because imagine if Eurovision had been in Israel next year, like how would they do that? I think that they wouldn't have done it in Israel. I think that they would have done like with Ukraine. They would have chosen another country to host it, like how they chose London back when Ukraine won. Um, but yeah, it didn't end on the nice note that it could have, and also yeah, the whole thing. It was not very good songs. Um, what I did like was that people were singing in the song of the country, um, much more. However, a lot of countries did not sing in their own country, like in their own language. Anyway, why am I here on the sofa? What's going on? I left the keys on my ESFP friend's car seat. And so she got her friends to drive me back home. And when I came back home, I realized I had no keys in my pockets. And I had some wine, and I was at the level somehow where my hope levels, my optimism levels were really high, and yet my brain faculties levels was really low. So um, I thought that I could fix this problem. I thought that maybe I hadn't locked my door, and so I would have, I didn't think that I'd left the keys at my friend's place. So I thought that if just some neighbor came and unlocked the front door, then I would be able to get in to my apartment. However, that wasn't the case. Then also, it was 2 in the morning, so I thought that I could call one of my colleagues who lives like not in my same building, but like next door, so that I could like sleep on a couch or something. But yeah, I called and nobody answered. I realized I have no friends, so it's like great. I tried to call a taxi. They wanted me to pay 1,000 or like $150. Um, so I was like, I got mad and I was like, no. um, but then I called my friend and she wanted to drive, but she was drunk, so it was like, no, I don't want to do that either. And also, she needed sleep because she'd worked that day. So, but she couldn't sleep unless I had gotten home safely. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, just get a Uber or a Bolt or something. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I can't figure this out at 2 in the morning. Um, so yeah, she ended up calling a Bolt for me. And it took, the whole process of this took like 1.5 hours uh, of like, from me realizing I didn't have the keys until I realized that, yeah, until I could get home, because the Bolt had to stop at several people first. And I ended up becoming friends with the driver. He was really nice. And then there's some random dude who he was doing like a really short trip, and he paid for my trip pretty much. Um, it was his name was Matthias. Whoever you are, Matthias. Plenty of people are called Matthias, but nobody's like you, who ended up paying like $75 for my trip. Um, I ended up paying like 20. So, um, even if I was like super unlucky, I was really lucky. Like, wow, there are some really generous people out there. And um, yeah, I was also so confused about the process of using Bolt, because I was like, wait, who's paying for what? What's going on? So I didn't understand at first that this guy was paying for my trip. I thought he was paying for his own trip. Um, but he was actually being very, very generous. So thank God for that. Um, and yeah, I ended up uh, picking up the keys and then going back home. And yeah, I only slept 4 hours because I couldn't, because my. It's also really weird, I think that also what made me all confused was because here in Sweden in mid-May is like you only get like a few hours of nighttime. So I was like, oh, it's 2 in the morning, but it's kind of warm, It's 2 in the morning, but it's not completely dark, like it was. By the time 3 in the morning came, like the sun was already starting to rise by the time I got home. So I think they put me through a loop of like, I'd been so energized of the Eurovision, and I was like, what time is it? Nothing makes sense anymore. And, you know, I'm glad I didn't have a shutdown or a meltdown or whatever right there and then. But I think it was kind of a shutdown, actually, because like my brain decided that, okay, everything is fine now. Or I don't know, I was dissociating. I think that that's what it was. I wasn't like fully there. And, nothing really fazed me. But the problem with that, like, that's good. But the reason that you don't want to be phased is because you want to be able to make decisions quickly and good decisions. And I was like in a place where I was making stupid decisions. Also, I almost lost the reason why I lost my keys in the first place was because it had fallen from my pocket in the car. And so I almost lost my phone in the Uber car, in the Bolt car. I don't know, because I was so clumsy, and so it left my pocket. But yeah, um, not something I want to repeat. Um, I I felt so guilty about keeping my friend up, and yet, and like needing her help and like figuring this out, and then realizing that like I have no friends that can actually help me out in this kind of situation. Um, so I have to rely on her, and yeah, so it worked out fine, and I came home safe at like 4 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, something like that, and yeah, what was supposed to be like a fun evening ended up being a little bit of a mess. Um, but yeah, such is life sometimes. There are so many wonderful things in in all of the difficulties. There are some blessings that come around sometimes, like the guy who paid for my trip and my friend being able to help me out with the bolts, and also um, the bolt driver was really kind. You know, he could have been really awful guy, but he was. We ended up um, he ended up connecting, and he empathized with my situation, and I felt okay. Um, so yeah, that's all I had to say for today. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.